What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Logan if you don't know me already. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than most of my other videos. Most of my other videos are about just car detailing, and I want this channel to focus on growing a business and a lifestyle, not just car detailing itself. I'll be getting my real estate license soon, so I'll be making tons of videos on that as well. And I'm a huge credit card nerd. I'm all about free travel. I travel all the time for work and for fun, and I almost never pay for a plane ticket or a hotel. So if you'd like to see more like travel hacking videos, like travel hacking meaning how to travel for free and get free hotels and free flights and stuff like that, definitely let me know in the comments below and I'll make a video on it. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So like I said, I'm a huge credit card nerd, so today we're going to be talking about how to build your credit score fast. Sorry, I just got a text. I'm so ADD. So first, I want to tell you guys a story of something that happened before I started building my credit. So just in case you're skeptical and like, oh, I don't know if I need credit, listen to this and maybe you'll change your mind. So when I was 18, almost 19, I found a great deal on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, I think it was 1,400 square foot home in a great location. It was exactly what I was looking for. I loved it. Everything was perfect about it. I had enough money in the bank to put down a pretty heavy down payment, pay all the closing costs, and pretty much everything that goes into buying a home, which is like so much money if you really add it all together. Just basically, I had enough money to put a down payment on the house and then every other cost that comes with buying the home. I had everything set and ready to go. The only thing that I haven't done is got pre-approved. And if you've never bought a home, getting pre-approved is basically when you go into a bank and find out how much money they will lend you based on how much money you make. So like, if you only make $30,000 a year, a bank is only gonna lend you so much money based on that. But if you make like $1 million a year, the bank will lend you way more money because they know that you have a constant flow of income to pay down that loan. So I went into the bank to get my pre-approval letter. That way I could put an offer on the house, because whenever you're putting an offer on the house, it just doesn't look good unless you have a pre-approval letter. That way the person that's selling the house, if they get like 5 offers and they see your offer and you were the only one with a pre-approval letter, it's kind of like that extra reassurance that, okay, this person actually has the money to follow through, so they might take your offer before somebody else. So that's why you would want a pre-approval letter, but I'm already getting off topic, so let's go ahead and get back on the credit subject. But whenever I went into the bank to get my pre-approval letter, I've always paid cash for everything. I've never financed a car. I've never had a credit card. I've never applied for a mortgage before. I've never had any debt on my name. I've always been debt-free because I thought that was just the right thing to do. I thought that banks would look at me and go, oh my gosh, he's never borrowed any money and he has money. Why would we not lend him money to help him? And I thought that because I never had any debt, that the bank would love that and want to give me a loan because I've already been so responsible with money. I have a down payment, I have everything ready, all I need is a loan. But because I've never had a credit card or never had any sort of debt, I don't have a credit history. So the bank doesn't know how responsible I am with paying back money. So long story short, I didn't get the loan. Because in the bank's eye, I've never had a chance to actually prove myself. So even though I don't have any bad credit, I don't have any missed payments or things I haven't paid back or anything like that, I've still never been trusted with money, so the bank won't give me the loan just based on that. But this is the interesting part and why I'm making this video, is because I didn't have a credit card even just 6 months before that. If I had a credit card 6 months before I applied for that loan, that would have been enough credit history for them to give me the loan and buy the house, and I would have been set. It's just that 6 months. So if you can just take at least one thing from this video, it's if you're watching this and you don't already have a credit card or even student loans, any sort of something on your credit that shows that you can borrow money and pay it back, just go and get a credit card. You can go to your local credit union and get something with like a $300 limit or even just a secured card. A secured card is what she was talking about. All I needed was a secured card for 6 months and I would have gotten the house. So if you're gonna take anything from this video, just let it be that. Go and get a credit card if you don't have one already. I would say this is a pretty good example of why you need one, credit history and a high credit score. If my credit score was, I don't know, 760 or above, I would have gotten the lowest interest rate possible. Actually, I don't know if it's 760. I think it might be higher than that. But regardless, having a high credit score means you can be eligible for a low interest rate. Whatever that may be, you need a high credit score if you're going to do anything. Like if you're ever going to buy a home, you need a high credit score because that's going to allow you to get a lower interest rate and save thousands and thousands of dollars down the road just by having a high credit score. Okay, so first, to build your credit score, you'll need to understand how your score is actually calculated and broken down. That way you can understand what areas you need to improve on. And if you don't understand all this, Most people don't, so don't feel bad if that's you. I use a free website called Credit Karma to check my credit score and see if there's anything that I can improve on, or maybe if there's any cards that I may be eligible for. I will definitely link Credit Karma in the description below, but I'm not getting paid from Credit Karma to say anything about them, or I'm not sponsored by any of these credit cards I'm about to talk about. Credit Karma is just a great tool to check your credit and overall just understand everything that I'm about to say. For example, Credit Karma will show you different categories of your credit and where you stand in those categories, and then give you tips on how you can improve. Now one complaint a lot of people do have about Credit Karma is that it's not very accurate, and I would agree with that. It's normally, for me, maybe 5 to 7 points lower than when I get it checked by an actual bank, like when I actually get my credit pulled by a bank. But it's a great way to understand how your credit actually works, and this 5 to 7 points don't really matter anyways, so I wouldn't focus on that. And if you're wondering why not just go to a bank and get it checked in the first place if it's 100% accurate and if Credit Karma is not? And the reason why is whenever you have a bank or a car dealership, or anyone else check your credit, they will give you a hard inquiry, and that will damage your credit score just a little bit. But you don't want to get your credit checked by someone who's actually going to run it again and again and again, because you're just going to keep getting hard inquiries, and I'll explain that in a second. But basically, whenever you check it on Credit Karma, you don't get any hard inquiries. You can just check it, and it'll give you an almost accurate guess on what your credit score is. It may be like 5 to 7 points off, but those 5 to 7 points aren't going to make a difference anyways, so I would use Credit Karma to understand how your credit works, and you're going to get it pulled eventually whenever you apply for a mortgage or get a car loan, so it doesn't matter. So the 3 biggest things that will affect your credit score is your utilization, your payment history, and your derogatory marks. Your utilization is basically the amount of money you spend versus the amount of money you have available to you. So for example, say you have a credit card with a $1,000 limit and you spend $500 of that would obviously be half, and your utilization rate would be 50%. Your payment history is basically just how good you are at paying your bills on time. So if you have a bill due on the 30th and you don't pay it until the 31st, that would obviously look bad on your payment history. And then a derogatory mark is basically whenever you just completely fail to pay something. So if you had a credit card and you never paid it off and it went to claims, that would give you a derogatory mark. Or maybe you have a hospital bill that you didn't pay, that would also give you a derogatory mark. So now we just need to find out how you can improve on these, because remember how I said in the beginning of the video how these 3, the utilization, payment history, and derogatory marks, affect your score more than anything? Getting all these different factors in the excellent range on your credit report will dramatically jump your credit score. So let's start with your utilization. Again, your utilization is the amount of money you spend versus how much you have available to you. Anything between 0 and 9% is in the excellent range, and then anything from 10 to 29 is good, and then anything from 30 to 49 is fair, and then it just gets worse from there. I hear a lot of financial advisors advise people to stay under 30%, which is good, and that's perfectly fine, but if you want to dramatically jump your credit score, you need to focus on being in the excellent range in all 3 of these categories, and that will boost you farther than if you were just at 30%. And remember, 30% of your credit score is your utilization rate. So if you can get your utilization rate in the excellent range, just doing that alone, 30% will already be excellent. And if you got every single factor of your credit score in excellent, that would give you a perfect credit score. So just focusing on getting these 3 different categories, you're already halfway there. And plus, as far as your utilization goes, it's so easy. You basically just have to spend less money. Like, it's that simple. Just stay under 9%. It's very simple. If you have a, let's say a $300 limit, that would be kind of difficult, but that's still just $27. So just don't spend more than $27 at a time without paying it off. I know that I talk really fast, and I'm trying to keep all these numbers as simple as possible, because I know when I was first learning all of this, it seemed like everyone talked so fast and splurted off so many numbers that like my brain couldn't handle it. So if there's anything you didn't understand, leave it in the comments down below and I'll answer it. So now let's talk about your payment history. If you've paid every single bill on time, then your payment history will already be at 100%, which is excellent. But if you've missed even just one payment, you might already be stuck in the good range. Try to just make it as simple as possible in your head. Like, if you have 100 payments to make, like between credit cards, cars, maybe a mortgage, out of that 100, if you just miss one payment out of that 100, you're already at 99%, which is good. And then if you miss 2 payments, you will be stuck at 98%, which is fair, and that's not good at all. So always, always, always make sure you pay every single bill on time, and then you won't ever have to worry about this, and it'll already be in the excellent range. A really easy way to avoid this is I set all of my credit cards on auto pay, so even though I go and pay them off manually to make sure I never pay any interest, so even if I forgot to do that, I wouldn't have a late payment or late fee, and it wouldn't affect my payment history. So definitely go and set all of your credit cards or anything that you can on auto pay. just in case. That way it won't affect your payment history, because once you screw that up, you're pretty much screwed. So the next biggest factor of your credit score is your derogatory marks. And if you had a credit card go to claims, or a hospital bill that never got paid, or a house that got foreclosed on, there's really nothing you can do about it. It's going to stay on your credit report for I think 7 years. All you can really do at this point is just live and learn. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people have false information on their credit report, and a lot of times that's their derogatory marks. Like, for example, my brother had a derogatory mark that was completely false. It was a hospital bill that never got paid. It was like a $2,000 bill that never got paid, that he never went to. It had nothing to do with him. It was just false information on his credit report for some reason. And once he got that taken care of, his score went up like 50 or 60 points, which is huge. So definitely check your credit report and make sure everything is correct. And if it's not, another reason I love Credit Karma is because you can just file a dispute on Credit Karma, and they'll walk you through all the steps and what you need to do, and it's actually super easy. And there's not that much you can do about these other factors. Like, you'll see the next one is your total credit age. And there's not that much you can do to improve this except for just wait. Which is why I'm going to say this again. If you don't already have a credit card, just go and get one right now, and that way you can go ahead and start building your credit age. But your total credit age doesn't have a huge effect on your credit score. My credit score is, I think, 748, and I don't even have 2 years on my credit report yet. But your total credit age doesn't make a huge difference on your credit score. My credit score is 148, and my credit age is, I think, a year, 9 months, or 11 months or something. It's about to hit 2 years. Let's just call it 2 years because it's pretty close. But keep in mind that all of these tips I'm giving you, I learned all of these before I got my first credit card, so I've pretty much done everything perfect. The only mistake I had was waiting so long to get my first credit card. And by the way, everything I'm saying in this video is coming from personal experience. This is exactly how I built my credit score. My credit score is pretty high considering I haven't even had a credit line open for 2 years, and my credit score is already 748. The next factor that builds up your credit score is your total number of accounts. So that's all your credit cards, if you have a home loan, if your car is financed, if you have a personal loan, all of these different accounts add up. My point is your total number of accounts isn't just your credit cards, it's everything. And to get an excellent rating on this factor, you'll have to have 21 or more accounts, which is very difficult, and I'll explain why in a second, but this has such a low impact on your score that it doesn't really matter that much. You'll just slowly build it over time. And then the last factor is your total inquiries. So whenever you apply for a new credit card or a home loan or try to get a car financed, they will run your credit and that will give you a hard inquiry. And this is also such a small factor in your credit report. Between applying for a mortgage, getting credit cards, and I financed a car, I have 9, I don't know why I just held up a 4th finger. I have 9 inquiries on my credit report right now, and my credit score is still 748. So as you can, and I've only had credit for 2 years. So as you can see, it doesn't affect your score that much, so I wouldn't worry about it. Plus, whenever you get a hard inquiry, it'll only affect your score for 6 months. And whenever you get it, it'll normally bump it down anywhere between 3 and 6 points, depending on what it is. And after that 6 months, it goes back up. And then after 2 years, the inquiry will completely disappear and there'll be no trace of it. But banks and car dealerships don't like to see that you have a bunch of inquiries because it looks like you are trying to get a bunch of credit cards and get a loan and stuff like that and then run away and not pay it. So they like to see that you're not just getting everything all at once. They would much rather see like 5 years of history and you get a credit card here, you get a new car here, rather than someone who's had credit open for 6 months and they've gotten a whole bunch of credit cards and a car loan. That's a little bit more risky, and they might think that you are trying to just borrow everything you can and run with it, so that's why they don't like to see a whole bunch of hard inquiries. They like to see a long credit history, so if you have 8 credit cards and yes, you pay all of them off in time, that's still sometimes not enough, because if you've had them a year, then that's not enough time to really show them that you can be responsible with all the money that you have available to you. But just to summarize all of that, your goal is to get your utilization rate to 9% or lower, and the easiest way to do that is just to go to Credit Karma and check your credit limit and then only use 9% of that. And if you want to make it really easy for yourself, check your credit limit and then just ask Siri what's 9% of that. And then for your payment history, just go and set everything on auto pay. That way, just in case, it won't affect your payment history. And of course, still go and pay it off every month manually. That way you don't have to pay interest or you never carry a balance. And then for your derogatory marks, very simple. Just go into Credit Karma, check it, make sure it's correct. And if it's not, use the steps and tools on Credit Karma to file a dispute and get that taken care of as soon as possible. Because even something as small as that can affect your score by 50 or 60 points like it did with my brother. So those are 3 easy tips you can use to improve your credit score fast. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below or DM me on Instagram. I answer all my DMs and all my comments. My Instagram will be at the very top of this description, and then Credit Karma will be right below that. Also, I just want to say again, this video is not sponsored by Credit Karma. I just use Credit Karma because it's very easy to navigate, and it's a great tool to understand your credit and how you can improve things. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe for more content. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of what I do on a daily basis, definitely follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.